Hey everybody, it's Jeanette.
And
I'm Justin.
And I'm Danielle.
We met Danielle and Justin through church, through Cape First, and we've got to know them, and we found out that they are heading somewhere to do some pretty cool things. And so we just wanted to come and tell everybody what they're doing, and if you would like to support them, how you can support them. So tell us who you guys are and where are you going?
So I'm Justin, this is my wife Danielle, and we are going to Roatan, Honduras to be full-time missionaries.
What was the next question? Well, okay, so I guess to get into that a little bit more. We are going to serve as full-time missionaries, and we will be joining a ministry or a nonprofit called Legacy. So we will be working underneath them as, I don't know, it's more of like an umbrella type of an organization, and then Justin and I will kind of have a branch off of that and do our own ministries that God has called us to. So we will be leaving shortly, and our time frame is pretty indefinite. So
when you get there, what will you be doing as far as working with the community or children or women, or what's going on?
hit it.
So I will be working with a church called New Hope Church as a worship pastor, and I will head up all their construction projects, and Danielle will be teaching at the Legacy Center and implementing a literacy program that she wrote. And together we will be doing a young adults internship, and our dream is to start a children's crisis center.
So as far as goals go, that would be like your main goal is to have a children's crisis center in Honduras, so that way children that are in need and families that are in need have a place for their little ones to go.
Okay, so I guess to piggyback off of what he said, that is our long-term goal. So in 2024, we would love to launch a full-on children's crisis center. But this year, as we go down there, we'll be joining forces just alongside them as what they already have in place. But a little bit of Justin and I's story and part of our inspiration, something that you have asked us about and what we talked about last night as we were kind of like thinking through this, is our testimony and our journey of what got us here. So my background has been international missions. I've done a lot of trips and spent a lot of time overseas and doing things like this. So it's definitely a passion and something that God has birthed in my heart. But after being married, I really thought that my mission field would be the local church, as Justin was pastor. But over the last year and a half of our marriage, we've walked through the struggle and difficulty of infertility, which ultimately has led to us finding out that we wouldn't be able to have children. And as much as we believed that, our dreams were over and that we just didn't know how we could reconcile. Like, we know God is good, but how in the world is he good if this is what we're walking through? And it kind of snowballed. So back in March, we went on a trip with the young adults, and we took them on a inner city mission trip to Atlanta. And God just started working on both of our hearts as far as that, just dreams of, we want to do something more. We want to see where God is calling us. We really just thought that would probably be some trips. But simultaneously, as we were following that dream, we also were walking the rough road of figuring out that the way to a family that we thought we would walk was going to look a lot different. And so we, just through prayer, honestly, here in the States, the doors were closing for us. Hi, Bubba. You sit right
we
here.
have River with us.
He's going to come with us too. We truly thought that we would foster and adopt here, and God kept closing the doors and kept pointing us into this direction. And so as much as a story that I feel like the enemy was trying to use for disaster, destruction, and just depression, honestly, God turned beauty from ashes. And so he birthed this dream in our hearts. And so not only will we have the ability to help kids who need to be rescued from their homes, but we also will get the opportunity to walk through fostering and adoption to find out who the newest members of the Fisher family will be. So we're really excited about that.
That is exciting. There's gonna be a lot of people praying for you both and keeping communication with you guys and seeing how things are going and how people can help and things like that. So with that being said, if people want to, follow along with your journey, how can they do that?
You want me to talk about that?
So we have a Facebook page that you can follow along. We'll also be doing a monthly newsletter.
Yeah. We're also on the Legacy website, so that you can get on legacymissioninternational.org. We'll lead you to our page. You can read a little bit about our story, which is basically what we've shared here, but it also has a direct link that will take you to our Facebook page, as well as take you to a giving link if and when you felt called or felt like, you know what, the Children's Crisis Center sounds like something I'd really love to partner with or sponsor. You can do so through the website. Your child, that's yours. I just want you to remember that.
We'll keep it real. That's River. He gets to go out
River's
there.
gonna drink. And then I would say, social media wise, we really plan to do as much as we can to be transparent through our process. Not only because we know that it'll help our supporters see what we're doing and really kind of link arms with us, but equally so, we are excited for just kind of like the diary or the journal of how we get to our kids and how long we've prayed for them and how many people are watching that story unfold. So we're excited for that too. So you can find us on social media as well.
What made you decide Honduras?
So we started praying about it back in March, and in April, the Legacy Center actually contacted Danielle and asked her to write a literacy program for them. And so from there, it just kind of snowballed into what they were needing and what we could offer. And it was just kind of where God led us, kind of step by step.
I think something that's also important, and this is just kind of something that I share when I talk to people, and hopefully it encourages others, but I think a lot of times as Christians we can overcomplicate what Scripture says, or is it God's will, or am I supposed to go? And I think for us, we knew God was leading us somewhere, and it just was what was like laid out in front of us. I read a book by David Platt a long time ago called Radical, and he talks about how in Scripture it says already to go. Now, you may just be going to your neighbors. Maybe you're going, up the road or across to a different state. Maybe you are going out of the country. But if you have the means, or if you have, just for example, like you see it on an update video at church, and there's all of a sudden like, hey, that'd be cool to go on that mission trip. I've got a week of vacation, and I've got some money saved. Like, cool. God's already called us. We know that, we're just waiting for the opportunity. So I think for us, we knew it was going to be someplace, and these were just kind of the ways that God just led us. We had the skill set that they needed, and for us, we knew a few people down there, so that was also super helpful. But it was, I think a lot of times something like this sounds so big and so dramatic, and it is a big change and it's a huge move, but it wasn't something that was like super complicated. Like, it was just kind of, we felt like God was moving and here was an opportunity and it fit. So that's where we've gone.
What can people pray for you guys?
I would say for us personally, just health as we are someplace different, and just that God would be with us as we're walking through the road of fostering and adoption. I was reading in Scripture the other day that God, I'd have to go back and remember the exact reference, but I was just talking about that God will provide the land. That's something I've just been praying, that God already knows the house or the land or where the location will be for a Children's Crisis Center, so that He would just provide those details. As far as where we're going, the need would be that we can just learn the language and build relationships with people. That's the one thing that drew us to Legacy. What we love more than anything is before they ever planted a church, before they were ever known as like the Americans that were there with the nonprofit, they spent a year just sowing into the community. And after that birthed the home church, which is now a bigger church, which honestly they now need another church plant because it's gotten so big. But it was all because they sat down and spent time and built relationships with people. So for us, that's something that we want to do. We want to come alongside them and be able to be the phone call somebody makes when they need something or when they're going through a hard time. God would just bridge that gap.
So will you guys be starting from the ground up with the Children's Center? Like, will you?
100%.
Yeah.
I think my biggest thing, I will be doing teaching after school. I will not be in a classroom, so previous to what I do now, I was a classroom teacher. But Legacy itself doesn't have a school, and so I will be working with kids after school. But I think my biggest thing this year, amongst all of the things we're coming alongside and partnering them with, would be educating myself on whatever licensing or whatever things would need to be done, building the relationships with the right connections and people, so that we know that we're going about it the right way, but we also have good people in our corner there ready to plant it.
Is there already a school in the area that you can work with?
Yeah, there's many schools. The schools there, it's just a total difference than what we're used to here as far as the resources and things go. So our programs for after school are truly to just like reinforce things that they're learning, but most likely not receiving in the classroom. I definitely have the opportunity, our interns coming down this summer, or like when they will come down in the summers, we'll have the chances to kind of jump into a local school and help teach kids English or just spend time reading with them. And so, yeah, we definitely have partnerships with schools. It's just Legacy itself doesn't have its own.
Questions, Steve?
I have a lot of questions. We haven't known Justin and Danielle very long, but we're excited for them. I'm sad they're leaving already this soon because we meshed so well, so fast. Their story is just amazing, and you couldn't meet two better people to go through a tragedy over the last year and turn into something awesome for God to use. So we're excited for you guys. Okay.
All right. Tell us about where you're going.
So we're going to Roatan, Honduras. It's an island that's 32 square miles with a population of 110,000 people. And a lot of the needs there revolve around drug addiction and neglect and violence. And they say 80% of the cocaine that comes to the U.S. goes through Roatan, Honduras. And so there's a lot of addiction that leads to the other needs. And
A lot of broken families, a lot of just that's where the kids and neglect come from, is that a parent may be either gone to sell or traffic something, or equally so, but maybe even themselves addicted. And then our particular area, a lot of people hear Roatan and think big beautiful island where cruise ships go, and that's not wrong. It is beautiful, and there are cruise ships that go, but we will be on the total opposite end. So we'll be on the east side of the island. If you looked at a map where the Legacy Center is, it's kind of funny for all of us local people, we're going to be in Oak Ridge. And so that's where our church is, where the Legacy Center is. Justin and I's home is in Jonesville, which is right next door, but all of our ministry is really from like the Jonesville area to the east. And so where the biggest need is. And if you just saw pictures of the difference between the West Bay and the east end of the island, I mean, you'd be shell-shocked just to see how
It's
crazy
probably like
it is.
when you go, I've been down there to, I don't remember there in the country, but when you go down there and you go to the resort, but then like you go from the airport to the resort where it's like huts everywhere. And then also you're at this massive resort, so you're like kind of on the hut side.
Absolutely, we
Yeah.
are.
So with that being said, you know, like here in the United States, like maybe like Christmas time, you know, we do toys for tots, like, you know, for kids who are in need, or like a backpack for school. If people want to send you guys things to help the children in your area and the children that you're helping, like, will they be allowed to do that? Like, can people send you, you know, like, you know, Danielle and Justin have, you know, 25 kids that they're trying to help. and will people be able to do something like that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the things that we have identified this year, just in our move, knowing that this is for a long-term thing, we can't pack everything in a suitcase on an airplane. So trying to figure out the logistics of that, and we've identified an area. So we are able to ship out of New Orleans. It takes about 3 weeks to get there. So as long as there's a little bit of forward planning and you kind of know ahead of time, then you can absolutely ship items to us for those types of needs. Also, one of the biggest things that we look forward to, aside from the dreams that we have, are teams to come down. So when there's, if our church, or it doesn't have to be our church, there's a lot of people we've talked to outside of this area that look forward to coming down and serving. So with that, you pack your suitcase of stuff, and then you can bring an extra suitcase and be able to come down and bless some of the people down there. And with team ministry, it's kind of cool. You get the opportunity to dream and run with it. So if you and your love is kids, you could come up with your own little VBS that you want to do. And as long as we kind of work together to come up with that plan and figure out the supplies that are needed, what do you need to bring, what do we have access with, you can do that. And if Adam wants to come down and y'all want to do a construction project, trust me, the needs are insane. But you guys have the ability to do things like that. So that's what's really neat about Legacy that we love, is the tailored portion of things, where there's really I feel like it's kind of a glass ceiling when it comes to opportunities. If you can dream it, I feel like they really foster the ability to make it happen for you.
And Legacy is a 501(c) nonprofit organization, is that right?
It is. So everything that you make, through our link for our website, or checks that are written, everything is tax deductible. Yeah.
Where can they go to donate or?
Yeah, so if you go to www.legacymissioninternational.org, on that page, it's Meet Us, and there's a drop down for missionaries, and you'll see our ugly mugs right on that page. You can click on it, it tells our story. From there, there's a spot to get connected with us. It will take you directly to our Facebook page, the prayer group. There's a spot where both of our emails are connected, so if you have any questions, or someone said, hey, I saw your video and would love to come down and serve, you can email us directly. And then there's a spot that says Support the Fishers. It'll open up a new browser, and it gives you the opportunity to do a one-time donation. You can give recurring. It gives you all the information from there.
So looking into the future, if a church wants to put together a group to come and do missionary work, the flight from the United States to Honduras, how long what are they looking at?
Oh, it's the easiest travel day. Tell them. You got that.
So we leave St. Louis at 7 o'clock in the morning, fly to Atlanta, and then we fly directly to Roatan, and we're there about 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Nice.
So it's a short travel day.
Same time zone. You don't have to worry about jet lag, those types of things. So you're not trying to make up for travel throughout the week. You can really hit the ground running. And really easy. I mean, the airport that you fly into is so small, so it's a quick turnaround.
And then as far as the people there, are they welcoming to people that are doing missionary work? What's that like?
You share your first experience, and I'll piggyback off of it, but
Yeah, I feel like everybody was very accepting, and we got to meet a family, worked with a family while we were there. And the woman's name was Maria, and she had baby Wendy and Jennifer and Diley, and Jacob was her kids. And we were able to get them a phone and a place to stay and some food for the week, and able to pray for them. And so I felt like they were very accepting, and glad we were there.
yeah, she had just gone through a really horrible time. We were able to kind of walk through that little situation with them. But aside from that, I just even think about Tuesday afternoons for the kids at the community center, and at this point, Brooke is who leads that and runs that. And in May and in September going, I jumped in the truck with her, and there are no laws there as far as riding in the back of a truck. So we pulled into the community that there's the greatest need. It's called Punta Caliente. And we pulled in, and I mean, kids just come flying from everywhere and jump in the back of the truck. They know what the Legacy Center is. They know what they're doing, and with the biggest grins on their face, they cannot wait. For a lot of them, it's the one meal or the 2 meals that they'll get during the week. But their excitement and the light, like them getting to go back into their homes. Sorry, river's slightly distracting, but them taking back the love that they've received at the community center and being able to show their parents or take Bible verses home that they've talked about or memorized while they've come to the community center. The reputation of Legacy is definitely very well known, and it's well received, and so we couldn't be more thankful to be able to partner with such a strong organization.
It sounds like it's pretty much guaranteed if you donate to Legacy and the Fishers and the cause, like it's making a difference, like guaranteed.
Absolutely.
And you've seen it already,
Yeah.
not even being there yet.
Right.
Yeah, we've watched every single bit of what they've done just come to fruition already. And I also think it's important to mention, because I think a lot of times, especially if somebody's watching this that doesn't know us personally, every penny that you donate goes directly to the ministry that we're doing. There is no point where you're paying something and this big fee is coming out of it to go towards something else, or that we have so much overhead or anything. Like, we are totally transparent when it comes to budgeting and those types of things, but Legacy as a whole, where your money goes, it's directly put back into the community and to the work that they're doing.
Is there more about Legacy you can tell us?
Yeah, I think we mentioned a little bit of it earlier. The thing that we love most about it is it's very tailored. So there's a lot of things that we have the ability to do that maybe aren't there. But what's fun for us, and the biggest thing that we'll be doing this year, is joining forces with what's already there. So Legacy we've described as like an umbrella, and underneath that we have the church, which Justin will be leading the worship for. On top of the church with the community center, so there's where the kids programs come in, and then there's a clinic that's there, so they have a doctor, a nurse, and an admin on staff every day, or except for Sundays. And inside there is a pharmacy, so that whole space is really cool. So if there's a medical team that ever comes down, that maybe somebody's an OBGYN, or maybe there is an eye doctor, like there's a space for people to come in and have a specialist week, if that makes sense, to do things like that. Also, it's $7 for somebody to come to the doctor, which includes the visit as well as any medication that the doctor prescribes that day. So that's something cool that we had the opportunity to do. They have little gift certificate vouchers, if you will, and so we were able to do that for a child that needed to be seen. We were able to give that to the parent. They could come in and it was taken care of. And so again, another need, even if it's not something that you think of supporting us, but you're really touched by the thought of, hey, $7, I can do that. That is something that we can get directly into the hands of the right people.
So I've heard about RAC. Can you tell everybody what that is?
Yeah, so that is the Roatan Advocacy Center for Women, and that is ran by Sarah, who is a sweet, sweet girl. That's also one of the missionaries there. And it is an organization or a ministry specifically for women who need help. They have the opportunity to learn English. They have the opportunity to learn how to sew. She's working with them on making jewelry so that they're able to sell it to maybe teams that come down. She's also partnering with different, is it fair trade? Is that the right word? Like companies that they could sell it at a boutique here in the States, but that money goes directly back into their pocket. So for women who are facing maybe, whether they're a single parent or possibly in a space of abuse or neglect due to maybe a husband and addiction, they have the ability to come and learn a skill or learn a trade. So it's not just giving them money, but they're absolutely able to learn something that they feel like they can then provide for their family, as well as getting to learn English. So it's a really great program and something that we see fitting in with what we would be doing with the children. And then I'm trying to think, other than, I mean, of course they have men and women's Bible studies throughout the week. What things did we see this summer that you can think of that I may be missing? Okay. That's pretty much what we've got so far.
Okay. Is there anything else that you want people to know?
Yeah, our biggest goal is to bring hope to families and just be an asset in breaking generational curses and just leaving a legacy that lasts far beyond us.
Thank you.
Well, thank you guys for filling us in on everything and coming here. And we're excited for y'all. We're sad that you're leaving so soon because we just started hanging out all the time. But we're proud of you for making the decision. You guys may not know them very well, but they've given up pretty much everything that they have here in their life as far as possessions go to move to another country, to a small island to help people. So we're really excited. We're proud of you guys, and we hope that you guys all donate to our friends here, the Fishers, who are going to be doing some awesome things.
Thank y'all so much.
Thank
Thank
you guys
you.
for doing this. We appreciate it.